Hello Void! This video is going to be a reflection of my experiences with the foundation rituals in Rod and Ring. This was the second section of the book. The rituals in this section take the initiate through a ritual journey of encounters with the 7 deities of Earth. These rituals follow the cycles of the moon. Throughout this leg of the initiatory journey, you will prepare for the main ritual on the night of the new moon by evoking Nana, the moon god. The night of the new moon is also referred to as first night. The Sumerians followed a solar-lunar calendar, with each month beginning on the new moon. That is, the night after the dark moon, where the first sliver of the new moon is visible. Most modern calendars mark the dark moon as the new moon, so if you're using a calendar that marks the moon phases, the new moon is actually the day following the day marked as the new moon if you want to follow the ancient traditions. I messed that up when I first started this journey, so don't feel too bad if you get the dates mixed up a bit, or if you need to adjust the dates to fit your schedule better. So on first night, you will honor the moon god and then refrain from further ritual activity for the night. Then on the second night, you will perform the ritual dedicated to the specific deity that you will encounter that month. On the third, fourth, fifth, and sixth nights, you will perform a smaller devotional ritual of thanksgiving to the specific deity. From the seventh night through the full moon, you will remain in a period of watchful silence and watch for signs from the deity, which may come in the form of dreams or synchronicities. My biggest piece of advice for anybody who is thinking about going through this initiation is to keep a journal. There were so many little details and experiences related to these rituals that I would have completely forgotten about if I hadn't kept a journal. If anything, I wish that I would have taken even more detailed notes. The first deity that we'll encounter in this journey is Gibel, the Sumerian god of fire, who was eventually syncretized with the Akkadian fire god Gira. I did this ritual in June of 2023, during the time when the wildfires were raging in Canada. So I took some extra time to pray to Gibel for the people who were affected by the fires during this time. Aside from the destructive aspects of fire, Gibel is also associated with the use of fire for creative purposes, such as in kilns for clay and brickwork. So I also explored working with clay a bit more during this month. During the second month of foundation, you will encounter Ninurta. Ninurta was originally regarded as an agricultural deity, but over time, as the culture changed, he came to be seen as a more militarized deity, with his area of influence extending to law and war. He came to be considered a god of agriculture, hunting, and medicine. I felt like it was a bit more difficult to connect with Ninurta than it was with most of the other deities, but I did spend this month working more with the medicinal plants that I grow in my garden and focusing more on their cultivation. In August of 2023, I did my ritual to Ishkur, the god of storms and rain. He was revered as the deity who brings rain to grow crops and was feared for his ability to send floods. He also had martial aspects, but was also known as the Lord of Prayers and Divination. The day that I did the ritual for him, the weather app said that it wasn't supposed to rain, but then it did start raining before I started the ritual. I was happy for it to rain because it created a more immersive experience for the ritual and to help me really feel his presence. Toward the end of the ritual, I heard a rumble of thunder in the distance. My September 2023 ritual was dedicated to Nisaba. Nisaba was originally worshipped as a grain goddess, but after writing was invented, she became more associated with writing and the literary arts. She was commonly worshipped by scribes, mathematicians, scholars, and priests. I spent this month focused on practicing writing in Sumerian cuneiform on clay and working on some of my writing projects. In October, I encountered Ningal. Ningal is the mother of Inanna and her twin brother Utu, the sun god. She is also the wife of Nana, the moon god. She's associated with the reed marshes of Mesopotamia, as well as with dreams and dream interpretation. While doing her ritual work, she showed me images of the ocean waves under the full moon, and I got the impression that she wanted those things to be included in her worship in some way. As far as I know, there aren't any ancient sources that link her to the tides and waves, but because she is the wife of the moon and the daughter of Enki, the water god, this association makes a lot of sense to me. I've also started honoring her at the full moon, just as I honor Nana at the new moon. In November, I encountered Geshti Nana. Geshti Nana is Dumuzi's sister and Inanna's sister-in-law. She is referred to as the grapevine of heaven and is considered a pastoral and agricultural deity. She takes Dumuzi's place in the underworld for half of the year, according to the Descent of Inanna myth. I also learned from Priska, who runs the Circle of Inanna, that Geshti Nana is the only goddess who is depicted as having friends who aren't her relatives or servants in the myths. So she can be regarded as a goddess of friendship among women as well. I had already been including her in my practice for a couple of months at this point, so this ritual felt a bit different from the others. I was already a bit familiar with her energy. She has a very caring and nurturing energy to me, almost maternal, which makes sense because she is depicted as a caring and dutiful older sister to Dumuzi in the myths. The final deity encountered in Foundation is Dumuzi. He is Inanna's husband and is considered a god of shepherds, fertility, and of growing plants. As the consort of Inanna, I had already been including him in my practice to an extent, and I was already even more familiar with his energy than I had been with Geshti Nana. I also started reading Samuel David's other book, The Red Shepherd, which I have right here, at around the same time. And I incorporated the liturgy from that book into my rituals of Thanksgiving to Dumuzi, and I extended this ritual work to Dumuzi by a couple of days. For me, the 7-month section of this initiation was about really getting to know the divine powers and recognizing their specific energies. These particular gods are most known for their connection to aspects of nature and of human civilization, so they might be a bit more approachable to humans than, say, the underworld gods. And while we're at it, I recently saw that some people claim that Mesopotamian polytheism isn't a nature-based religion because they claim the gods are more focused on civilization than on nature. But I don't really agree with that take at all. First of all, it's just not really true. We have gods that are associated with all of the same natural phenomenon as other pantheons. We have gods of fire, water, air, earth, storms. And secondly, I'd argue that civilization is a part of nature. It's part of our species' nature to build civilizations. You wouldn't say that a colony of ants building an anthill is going against nature, would you? Or that a spider building a web is going against nature? We have just developed a more complex way of building our shelters and our social orders than other species. It's still all a part of nature. Anyway, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss my next videos.